Every road trip reaches a point when the adventure begins turning towards home. After 7 weeks on the road, that day had finally arrived. We still had a long drive ahead of us, and one small question we had not answered yet. Is this the end of the road for our van travels?
We packed up in Buffalo with one goal: start making our way back to Minnesota. Buffalo had been a wonderful place to slow down for a few days. We explored the town, drove some incredible Wyoming roads, caught up on laundry, and enjoyed having nowhere we needed to be.
Bye, mountains. Nice seeing ya. We'll be back again one day.
But eventually, every campsite becomes another place in the rear view mirror, and it was time to point the van east.
We didn't have much of a plan beyond that. We knew we could drive straight through if we wanted to. There was one place, though, along the route that I had been thinking about. We are on the way home, and I thought might be kind of fun to do a little reflection on our 7-week trip as we're driving on I-90 through South Dakota. That can be a little bit boring at times. So we're going to have a little conversation here, just off the cuff, just chatting and reminiscing a little bit about our trip, and we hope that you enjoy this and reminisce along with us, and love to hear what your thoughts are after 7 weeks and which parts you really enjoyed watching and which parts you loved and which parts you hated even. I mean, we'll take that all into consideration for next trips too. So,
and if you're wondering what we're talking about, go to the playlists and binge watch our Van Life After 60 episodes and get up to date, get up to speed.
Start at the start though. Start at the first one and keep going. That's why you can really follow the whole journey. It's been a journey and we've got a lot to talk about, so let's get with it. Just a forewarning, this one might be a little bit longer of an episode than usual. We get a little chatty when we reminisce over 7 weeks, right?
Yep.
On our way home after 7 weeks on the road, how are you feeling?
A little melancholy, actually. It's like you get into a place of being normal, being out on the road and doing different things that when you're at home you never have to do. So going back to real life or home life seems a little strange right now.
Yeah, I agree. I've been kind of feeling melancholy-ish the last couple of days, knowing that this could be the last time we're making the bed for a while in here, the last time we're doing this and that in the van for a while, but also looking ahead to laying in our own bed at home and using our own bathroom. Those are two of the luxuries I'm looking forward to the most. What do you miss about being home?
Lazy boy recliner.
And there's only so many places to sit in the van. Okay, let's talk about highlights of the trip. We saw a lot, covered over 5,500 miles, or will have by the time we're home. Name like one or two of your top highlights that you'll always remember.
Well, of course, seeing my daughter and the grandkids was probably the highlight. Haven't seen them for over a year, so that was one of the neater things. Being able to camp at the base of Mount Whitney was awesome. Waking up and seeing those huge mountains, incredible. That was really good.
For me, it was a combination of seeing everything that I love. It was, people. We saw family. We saw dear friends of ours. We saw mountains that were snow-capped, which I've always wanted to see, and to see a little bit of the ocean too. So we got a little bit of all of my favorites in one trip, which is hard to do sometimes.
One thing that I thought was really interesting on this trip is that we've kind of traveled through every type of terrain that you could think of. We started in the Midwest and had the open expanses of Kansas and northern Texas and Oklahoma. We went into the desert of New Mexico and Arizona. We saw the back end of the Sierra Nevadas of 395, so the forests and the mountains, snow caps, and then the ocean, and then back along the Columbia River. There was a totally different type of terrain through there. So very much a lot of variety on this trip.
I think that's what made it interesting for us, is that things are always changing, and landscapes were changing for sure. And then as we traveled along the northern route home on I-90, we saw more snow-capped mountains with, around the Sheridan, Wyoming, and the, Buffalo, Wyoming areas, things like that. And now as we head across South Dakota, we've got more of the flat plains or rolling hill plains, that sort of thing, of South Dakota. So you do get a lot of different changes of landscape as you travel the country, and I love that part. How do you feel about how we, did we slow travel this time? Did we accomplish what we hoped to do this trip?
I think taking 7 weeks and 5,000 miles seemed like we were going a lot, but it also seemed like we took our time and explored some towns and some areas, took some scenic drives up into the mountains that we normally wouldn't have done before. So being out for that length of time really helped enable us to feel it was okay to take a day away from the campground and go explore.
Yeah, we did have a few campgrounds we stayed at for a few days along the way. And I think that really does help you reset a little bit, especially as you get older and you get tired. This can be an exhausting kind of lifestyle to live on the road for a while. You can only imagine what it's like when they live full-time on the road, but you're always looking for some place to stay, and sometimes you just want to stop thinking about that and sitting down, doing laundries, getting a good shower. We rely on campgrounds for that more often than not. So that, I think, really helped us a lot. We probably spent a little bit more money in doing that, but I think for our peace of mind and just for our rest, I think that was important for us.
One of the things that was different on this trip is that we stayed at a lot of truck stops and Walmart parking lots, which helped save some money. The one thing that we discovered that we kind of are enjoying are truck stop showers.
Yeah, I mean, that was a first time for us, and we took several of them on this trip, and we would do it again. It saves us on campground costs. I know you can get a Planet Fitness, annual pass for $25 for 2 people, but we're not city people, so we're not going to track down a Planet Fitness, and we can usually find a truck stop pretty easy on our route. So I think that works out well for us. I mean, we don't need to plug in or have water supplies and things like that. So campgrounds really are just kind of a safe respite for us when we do check into those. Otherwise, those, truck stop showers are awesome, and Walmart parking lots, we enjoy them. The other new camping that we did this time was going on BLM land. One is down by Lake Mead, where we were in the Lake Mead area. There was a BLM spot that we found. That was awesome. And then we found a BLM, organized kind of campground that was south of Taos that we enjoyed. So that was the first time we've ever done any BLM camping. And it was 2 different kinds of BLM camping. And I enjoyed both of them. They're great for 2 different reasons. And then also, not to mention the Forest Service campgrounds that we enjoyed a couple of times along the Oregon coast, and we could get into those campgrounds kind of like a state park at half price with our senior park pass, our national park pass. So that saved us some money too, and a nice place to park for the night. As part-time travelers, I'm still working a little bit, and not as much as I used to. I'm trying to back off a little bit as I approach full retirement down the road, but there are times where I'm still working on the trip, and I think it was pretty manageable this time.
Yeah, you weren't totally consumed like sometimes you've been.
You got to balance it all, and balance is hard on the road for sure. You got to worry about Wi-Fi and connectivity. If you don't have the money to invest in Starlink as a part-timer, then you have to rely on libraries and campground Wi-Fi's or truck stop Wi-Fi's or restaurant Wi-Fi. So there's some challenges with working on the road as a part-timer for sure. This was our longest trip we've ever taken. In the fall, we took a trip of 5 weeks. This was 7. Would you do this long of a trip again?
Yes and no. There were times where it kind of drug out and we were kind of like, yeah. But, like at this particular point where we're heading home, it's like, well, we could probably do a few more things. I think as we were getting towards the end here, we were letting a lot of our normal supplies run down, like propane and butane and water, knowing that we would be home in a day, that we didn't really need to restock and then just have it sit in the van. I think if there's lots of interesting things to see and do, and the driving isn't as difficult as it could be or can be, I think you can be on the road for a long time without getting burned out.
I think for me, I think you almost need that extra time if you're headed halfway across the country. You've got a long ways to go. There's a lot to see between here and each coast if you're in the middle of the country like we live. So if you go to the West Coast, you got a lot to see. If you go to the East Coast, there's a lot to see. And you just kind of need that time to go through it all. You can race through it for sure and just go to a destination and call it quits like a lot of people do when they have 1 or 2 weeks of vacation. But we're kind of over that. We kind of just want to putter our way along the road and pull over when it looks right to us and feels right, or when we're just tired. How about the future? What are we going to do this year?
Well, we haven't exactly pinpointed a adventure yet, but we have been talking about several places within the United States that we would like to revisit or visit on a more in-depth basis, and we will keep you abreast of that decision as we head towards the fall.
What I see in our future is maybe a couple of months we stay home and tend to work and routine and things like that before heading out to a big fall trip. I don't know where we'll go this year for fall. Last year we tried to go to the east and see the fall colors, and it failed. And we ended up in Florida. You've been watching those videos. That's how that one shook out. But we'll see if we try that again this year. It's just a luck of the draw whether that happens or not. Anyway, so that's what the upcoming future looks like for us. Anything missing or needing to be changed on the van after this trip? What do we need to do?
I think we need to be checking our brakes. I want to do a brake check and make sure that we did a lot of mountain driving, which means a lot of hard braking coming down those steep grades. So, obviously from a safety concern, that's the number one priority. We're going to be needing an oil change, and also at 80,000 miles now on the van, I'm feeling that the suspension, the shocks, the springs are starting to really cause some issues with feeling safe driving, especially in high winds or really bumpy off-camber roads. So we're going to look into that. Also, just a few other regular maintenance things like air filters for the engine, cabin air filters, and basically cleaning the thing from head to toe. We never did wash it after going through a major snowstorm coming over the pass in Montana, because we figured, what the heck, we're just going to get it dirty again. So major cleaning and reset is planned for Snoopy, the van.
Do you get distracted by other vans on the road like we do? I just saw a van go by and got distracted. We are driving home and about 5.5 more hours to go. We've already been on the road about 4. Are we gonna bust through and get home tonight?
I don't know. We're gonna have to make at least one more stop for fuel somewhere along the line. I mean, driving I-90 isn't that taxing. It is kind of windy today, so every once in a while it jars you into reality with a gust of wind. So normally we get to a certain point and we think, well, it's only 2 or 3 hours from home. Why would we stop and camp overnight when we can just drive and be home? So we'll see what we're gonna do.
Not much to look at here in South Dakota sometimes. Every once in a while you get a little hump or bump to look at. I did spot a place I would like to stay tonight if you are too tired to go home. And it's a place that I've seen others stay at before, and it looks lovely and it's free. I just don't know if we'll be able to get into it if it's too muddy or too ruddy or whatever this time of year. Right down by the river. Doesn't that sound wonderful?
We live in the van down by the river.
That is one question that I'll ask you as travelers. When you get home, can you leave your rig packed until the next day? Or do you want to unpack it right away? You know what I like to do, huh? Doesn't matter what time we get home. I'm always unpacking everything. 11 o'clock in the dark, we're sneaking in and we're unpacking it all. I don't know. It makes me feel better that everything's back in the house. What are you guys? Comment below. Am I crazy? I didn't ask you.
It turned out there were still a few campsites available, and after a long day on the road, this felt like exactly where we needed to be.
And you can't beat the view. We didn't know if we'd make it here that night, but sitting there by the river, watching the sun go down, we were pretty glad we did. After so many miles, it was the perfect place to slow down and enjoy one more quiet evening before making the final drive home. Morning came quickly. There were only a few more hours between us and home.
Seven weeks ago, we left home looking for new places and new experiences. Now, as we headed back, we were bringing those memories with us and a little more appreciation for the place we call home.
People sometimes ask why we keep traveling in a van. It's never really been about checking places off of a list for us. It's about taking the slower road, the slow 2-lane roads across the country, noticing the places we might have otherwise missed, and making memories along the way.
This trip gave us more than we expected, and now it was time to head home.
The wind is back. Oh my goodness, it is blowing us all over the road again. A couple more hours to go. Look. Hey, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Good girl. Okay. Got him. Last state. Back to Minnesota.
And even though this journey is coming to an end, there's still one more chapter to share. In the next episode, we'll take a look at what happens after a 7-week-long van trip. From getting the van cleaned up to adding up what this adventure actually cost us.
Before we go, we just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who traveled with us, watched our videos, left comments, and shared this journey with us. We know there are a lot of places you could spend your time, and it means a lot to us that you chose to spend some of it with us.
And if you just found our channel, welcome. We put the entire journey together in a playlist so you can start at the beginning and follow along from the first mile to the very last mile. You'll find the link in the description below.
Thanks for being part of our adventure. We'll see you on the next video.
I've climbed the mountains in Montana, danced in the lights of New Orleans. Portland ran away with me, and San Francisco stayed with me. Nashville made its way in between. Fell in love in Minnesota, and fell apart south of Salt